Have you ever felt a shadow touch you in a room where you were completely alone? Now imagine that feeling, but spread across 200,000 square miles of sun-bleached salt flats and jagged peaks. In the heart of the United States lies the Great Basin, a place where rivers never reach the ocean, where GPS signals go to die, and where for the last century, people have been vanishing into thin air without leaving a single footprint behind. Scientists call it a drainage anomaly. The locals call it something much darker. This isn't a campfire ghost story. It is a documented geological and forensic impossibility. Welcome to the land that geography forgot. Chapter 1: The Void in the Map. The United States is a land of connection. From the interstate highways to the fiber optic cables buried beneath the soil, everything is designed to lead somewhere, except for the Great Basin. Covering most of Nevada, half of Utah, and parts of California and Oregon, this is a hydrographic terminal. This means that every drop of rain that falls here stays here. It evaporates or sinks into the earth. It is a closed loop, a trap. In 2024, a team of researchers from the University of Nevada set out to map a specific stretch of the Black Rock Desert. They weren't looking for aliens or monsters, they were looking for lithium deposits. Lead geologist Dr. Elias Thorne was a man of cold, hard facts. He believed in the periodic table and the laws of thermodynamics. But the Great Basin doesn't care about your laws. We were 3 miles from the base camp, Elias would later tell federal investigators, his hands shaking as he held a lukewarm cup of coffee. The sky was a perfect bruised purple. No wind, no birds, just the sound of our own breathing. Then the silence changed. It didn't get quieter, it got heavier. Elias looked at his magnetometer. The needle wasn't spinning, it was vibrating so fast it looked like a blur. Behind him, his junior assistant, Sarah, was recording soil samples. He turned to ask her for the GPS coordinates. Sarah was gone. The ground was flat, baked silt. There were no bushes to hide behind, no crevices to fall into. In the 5 seconds Elias had turned his back, a grown woman had vanished on a plane of earth so level you could see the curvature of the horizon. No scream, no scuffle, no footprints leading away, just the empty, humming air. Chapter 2: The Frequency of the Earth. To understand the mystery of the Great Basin, you have to understand the Schumann resonances. These are global electromagnetic resonances excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. Typically, this frequency is a steady 7.83 Hz. However, in certain hotspots within the basin, the frequency spikes. When the search and rescue teams arrived to look for Sarah, they brought specialized equipment. What they found defied the standard models of geophysics. In the exact spot where Sarah had been standing, the electromagnetic field was oscillating at a frequency that shouldn't exist in nature. Research note: records from the Department of the Interior show that 1,500 people have gone missing in this specific corridor since 1910. While many are attributed to exposure or getting lost, over 10% of these cases share a terrifying commonality. The victims' belongings, shoes, watches, backpacks, are found neatly stacked in a circle, but the bodies are never recovered. Elias stayed with the SAR team for 14 days. On the 7th night, the light pillars appeared. These aren't auroras, they are vertical shafts of ionized air that rise from the ground toward the stars. It felt like the Earth was exhaling, Elias noted in his journal, a deep, subsonic groan that you feel in your teeth rather than hear in your ears. I looked at the spot where Sarah vanished, and for a split second, the air shimmered like heat rising from asphalt. I saw a silhouette. It wasn't Sarah. It was something older. Chapter 3: The Ancient Record. The mystery deepens when you look at the petroglyphs left by the indigenous Numic-speaking peoples thousands of years ago. Unlike the drawings of bison and hunters found elsewhere, the art in the deep basin depicts the star people and the holes in the wind. archaeologists have long puzzled over a specific site known as the Whispering Wall. It's a limestone cliff covered in spirals. When the wind hits the limestone at a specific angle, the rock vibrates. Modern acoustic engineers tested the site and found it produces infrasound, sound waves below the threshold of human hearing, typically below 20 hertz. Infrasound is known to cause feelings of dread, nausea, and even hallucinations in humans, but it doesn't explain the physical disappearances. It doesn't explain why in 1954 a military transport plane flying over the basin reported a blue mist entering the cockpit before the entire crew lost consciousness, only to wake up 300 miles off course with their clocks showing they had lost 4 hours of time, despite the fuel gauges showing only 10 minutes of flight. The narrative continues. Note: to reach 20,000 words, the story would now delve into the following subplots, which I can expand upon in the next prompt. The forensic evidence. The discovery of Sarah's camera found buried under 6 feet of dry salt, containing a single photo taken after her disappearance, a photo of a sky with 2 suns. The government connection. The secret history of Project Basin, a 1960s Cold War experiment attempting to use the area's natural magnetic anomalies for stealth technology. The mathematical component. Using the equation for Lorentz force, F equals Q times E plus V cross B, the story explores how high-intensity magnetic flux, B, could theoretically interact with the electrical impulses of the human nervous system, Q. The climax. Elias returns to the void with a prototype sensor, discovering that the Great Basin isn't just a place, it's a living, sentient geological machine. Chapter 4: The 1968 Incident and Project Basin. The search for Sarah was officially called off by the local sheriff's department after 14 days, but for Elias Thorne, the investigation was just beginning. While digging through declassified archives at the National Reconnaissance Office, he stumbled upon a file labeled Operation Stillwater, 1968. The file detailed a top-secret military installation located deep within the Nellis Range, not far from where the researchers had been working. During the height of the Cold War, the US government wasn't just looking for Russian spies, they were looking for dead zones, areas where radar simply ceased to function. According to the documents, the Great Basin contains massive subterranean deposits of lodestone and quartzite. When tectonic pressure builds up along the basin in Range Province, these crystals undergo the piezoelectric effect, generating massive electrical charges. V equals D times G times T, where V is the voltage generated, D is the piezoelectric strain constant, G is the stress applied, and T is the thickness of the crystal layer. The military theorized that if they could harness this natural Earth battery, they could create a permanent cloaking field for aircraft. But something went wrong. In August of 1968, the entire facility reported a phase shift. For 6 minutes, the base disappeared from every radio and visual contact. When it returned, the staff reported that the stars in the sky had changed positions, as if the entire base had physically moved to a different coordinate in space-time and then snapped back. Chapter 5: The Discovery of the Lens. 3 weeks after Sarah vanished, a park ranger named Miller found her DSLR camera. It was sitting on a salt crust outcrop 10 miles from her last known position. The camera was pristine, no dust, no scratches, but the battery was completely drained and the casing was freezing to the touch despite the 104-degree Fahrenheit desert heat. Elias was granted access to the memory card under federal supervision. There were 42 photos on the card. Photos 1 through 40, typical geological survey shots, soil samples, horizon lines, Sarah smiling near the truck. Photo 41, a blurred shot of the ground as if the camera were falling. Photo 42. This was the image that broke Elias's rational mind. It was a wide-angle shot of a landscape that looked exactly like the Black Rock Desert, but the colors were inverted. The sky was a shimmering metallic gold, and the ground was a deep, translucent indigo. In the center of the frame was a figure, Sarah, standing perfectly still, but she wasn't alone. Surrounding her were hundreds of translucent pillar-like structures that seemed to be bleeding into the air. At the bottom of the photo, a timestamp was burned into the digital file, October 14th, 2029. The photo had been taken 3 years into the future. Chapter 6: The Resonance Trap. Elias realized that the Great Basin wasn't just a geographical trap, it was a temporal eddy. The unique combination of high-altitude thin air, zero drainage, and extreme piezoelectric activity created a natural particle accelerator. He returned to the site, this time equipped with a high-frequency spectrum analyzer. He began to broadcast a signal at the missing frequency he had calculated from the archives, exactly 14.4 Hz, the second harmonic of the Earth's heartbeat. The effect was instantaneous. The air began to hum. The salt flats beneath his boots started to vibrate with a frequency that made his vision blur. He felt a sensation of stretching, as if every atom in his body was being pulled toward a single point on the horizon. "I saw the layers of the world," Elias wrote in his final recorded transcript. "The desert I was standing on was just a thin veil. Beneath it, or perhaps beside it, was a sea of energy. I saw Sarah. She was only a few feet away, but she was moving in slow motion, her face etched with a profound realization rather than fear. She wasn't lost, she was integrated." As Elias reached out his hand, the magnetometer in his pocket exploded. The sheer magnetic flux, B, had reached a level where the air itself began to glow with St. Elmo's fire. B equals mu0 I over 2 pi r. The current flowing through the crust of the Earth at that moment was estimated in the millions of amperes. Chapter 7: The Silent Exit. When the search teams returned to Elias's last known coordinates the following morning, they found his truck, his equipment, and his journal. The spectrum analyzer was still running, but the screen was melted. There were 2 sets of footprints in the dust. One set belongs to Sarah's boots, the ones she had been wearing when she disappeared weeks prior. The other set belonged to Elias. The footprints walked towards each other, met in the center of a perfectly circular patch of scorched earth, and then they simply stopped. There were no tracks leading away, no signs of a struggle. The most disturbing detail? A single silver wristwatch was left lying in the center of the circle. It was Elias's watch. It was still ticking, but the hands were moving backwards. To this day, the Stillwater Gap remains a restricted zone. Pilots are warned to avoid the area due to unstable magnetic interference, but those who live on the edges of the basin tell a different story. They speak of nights when the light pillars rise, and if you listen closely to the wind, you can hear the sound of voices, not screaming, but whispering data, coordinates, and dates that haven't happened yet. The Great Basin remains the only place on Earth where the water never leaves, and apparently, neither do the people. Summary of the mystery. The facts. Geological truth. The Great Basin is one of the most tectonically active and electromagnetically volatile regions in North America. The missing. Thousands of cold cases remain unsolved in the Nevada-Utah wilderness, often involving impossible disappearances. Scientific theory. The electronic fog theory, often used to explain the Bermuda Triangle, has its strongest land-based evidence right here in the American West. Chapter 8: The Subterranean Pulse. The investigation didn't die with Elias Thorne. It migrated into the digital shadows, the dark web of geological forums and whistleblowers. 6 months after Elias and Sarah vanished, an encrypted file was uploaded to a secure server in Zurich. It originated from a terminal inside Area 52, a lesser-known but more secretive sister site to Area 51, located beneath the Groom Range. The file contained a geological cross-section of the Great Basin that had never been seen by public eyes. It didn't show rock and magma, it showed voids. Vast, interconnected chambers, some spanning miles, sought 5 kilometers beneath the surface. These weren't natural caves, they were perfectly geometric, carved with a precision that defied modern tunneling technology. The whistleblowers called it the Hive. According to the leaked documents, the military had discovered that the light pillars weren't just a byproduct of the Earth's energy, they were a communication system. The Hive acted as a massive resonator, a literal acoustic computer. The theory of lithic intelligence. Some rogue scientists believe that the crystalline structures within the Earth's crust can store data in the same way we use silicon chips. If the Great Basin is a closed loop of water and energy, it might have been recording everything that happened on its surface for millions of years. Chapter 9. The Third Sun Theory. In 2025, a satellite launched by a private aerospace firm, rumored to be a shell company for a tech billionaire, detected a thermal ghost over the Black Rock Desert. While the surface temperature was a standard 85 degrees Fahrenheit, the infrared sensors picked up a localized point in the upper atmosphere that registered at over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature of the surface of the sun. Yet there was no fire, no light visible to the naked eye. This became known as the third sun. It is a point of pure, concentrated energy that only appears when the tectonic stress in the basin reaches a specific threshold. When Elias Thorne's camera captured that final image, the sky with two suns, he wasn't looking at another planet, he was looking at a fold in space. The third sun is a gravitational lens. R mu nu minus 1/2 r g mu nu plus lambda g mu nu equals 8 pi g over c to the fourth t mu nu. Using Einstein's field equations, the leaked Project Basin papers suggested that the energy density, T mu nu, becomes so high during these resonances that it warps the local geometry of spacetime. Sarah and Elias hadn't walked away. They had been siphoned through a gravitational throat, pulled into the voids beneath the Earth, or perhaps into the future recorded by the Hive. Chapter 10. The Witnesses of the Edge. To the American public, these are just missing persons posters on a gas station in Tonopah, Nevada. But to the locals, the ranchers who have lived there for generations, the mystery is a daily reality. You don't go out when the cattle stop moving, says Jedediah Moats, a 70-year-old rancher whose own brother vanished in 1992. The animals know. They feel the static in their fur. They just stand there, heads bowed, waiting for the hollow sound to pass. Jedediah claims he once saw his brother weeks after he disappeared. I saw him standing on a ridge. He looked like he was made of glass. I called out to him and he looked right through me. He said, "The drainage is complete, Jed. It's all coming back now." Then he just faded, like a radio station losing its signal. Chapter 11. The Global Connection. The mystery of the Great Basin isn't isolated. Data scientists have noticed a terrifying correlation. Every time a major event occurs in the basin, a light pillar, a mass disappearance, or magnetic spike, there is a corresponding echo in other terminal basins around the world, the Dead Sea, the Okavango Delta, and Lake Eyre. The Earth is leaking. If the Great Basin is the CPU of this geological computer, these other sites are the nodes. We are living on top of a machine we didn't build, and we are starting to accidentally flip the switches. The 20,000-word truth of the Great Basin is this: we are not the primary inhabitants of this planet. We are simply the moss growing on the surface of a giant, ancient, and very much awake system. Sarah, Elias, and the thousands before them didn't die. They were uploaded. The current situation, the aftermath. As of late 2025, a 50-mile no-fly zone has been expanded over the Black Rock region. The official reason is military training exercises. However, amateur radio operators continue to pick up a signal, a repeating loop of Sarah's voice, broadcast on a frequency that shouldn't travel through solid rock. She isn't asking for help, she is reciting a sequence of numbers. When those numbers are mapped onto a coordinate grid, they form a perfect map of the United States, and the dots are disappearing, one by one. The basin is growing. Deep Dive Data Table, the Great Basin Anomalies. Year, event type, location, scientific reading. 1947, mass disappearance, Steens Mountain. 400% spike in gamma radiation. 1968, phase shift, area 52, magnetometer saturation, off scale. 1994, the blue mist, Pyramid Lake, acoustic vibration at 14.4 Hz. 2024, the Thorn event, Black Rock Desert, temporal displacement, 3-year photo lag.